Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Good? What a great day this is. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm really excited for this task force getting going here. It's really an exciting time to be at Rutgers, an exciting time to be at the RCAAS because there's a lot of great things going on here. And I'm just really thrilled to be a part of this event today and to be a part of this university, frankly. I'm very excited to talk to you guys today and introduce you to our great panel here. We have a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different experiences that we're bringing here to talk about one of those quality of life measures that have been spoken about a couple times today that are traditionally very poor for adults on the autism spectrum, and that being employment. Rates of unemployment for adults with autism are worse than any other population of people, not just other populations of disabilities, just general human being results. It's the worst. And we really are, again, just excited for this panel and the university's dedication to improving outcomes here. But I'm going to stop talking as much and hopefully take my face off the screen here. Good. Okay. And I'm just really excited to introduce our panel today. We have some individuals who are employees, neurodiverse employees here on campus. And we also have folks that are real champions for improving these outcomes and hiring neurodiverse individuals. So very happy to have Zach Sanborn with us, who is a postal clerk at Rutgers IP&O. Henry Velez, who is the Vice President of Institutional Planning and Operations Business Services. Oh, you guys sat in order too. This is perfect. Alex Sheck, who is an equipment manager, assistant equipment manager for Rutgers football, and Mike Kuzniak, who is the Director of Behavioral Science and Team Services for Rutgers football. So we just wanted to start, give these guys an opportunity to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their background here. So we can just go down the line, I suppose. If you're ready, Zach. There you go. Yep.
All right. Morning, everyone. My name is Zachary Sanborn. I've been affiliated with Rutgers for about 5 years, but for about 9 months, I've been a full-time postal clerk working at Rutgers Mail Services at their main post office. Back in high school, I was at a learning disability school, so I was surrounded by a bunch of kids that were neurodiverse, which I thought was an excellent way to socially interact with them. But I graduated from college with a bachelor's degree, business management, concentration in marketing. But I currently have Asperger's, in which just social interactions are not my strong suit, but currently a member of the steering committee, and I'm hoping to pass on my experiences, hope to promote this steering committee much better than it is today.
Thank you, Zach.
Hi, everyone. I'm Henry Velez. I'm Vice President for Institutional Planning and Operations. I've been at the university for 28 years in various roles. In my current role, we oversee the largest business operation at the university. We have over 27 million square feet of space that we manage, several support areas within the university facilities, public safety, strategic services, planning, development, design. The code office is under our area, and then under my business services, besides budgeting and finance, we have the support services, all the auxiliaries with the exception of dining services. We oversee mail operations, records retention, warehouse management, fleet management, and several other support areas. And it's a pleasure to be here, and happy that Dr. Mante was actually kind enough to invite me to be part of the task force. I'm also very proud to say that both Zach and Alex here are members of our team. Zach, just this morning, I heard that you actually are now a full-time member of our mail service operation. Congratulations to that.
Thank you.
And Alex, I hope we'll have you full-time with us as well very soon. So looking forward to having the discussion this morning.
My name is Alex Shack. I am 28 years old, and I am an athlete and passionate about the sports and working in sports. I have been at Rutgers for almost like 5 years. I held a volunteer and paid position, and then several departments. I landed my dream job at the in the Rutgers Athletics last fall.
Good morning. Before I introduce myself, I just wanted to thank Dr. Menente and Dr. Merritt Tavano. Close enough. For inviting me, sorry for butchering that, for inviting me to this event and giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you guys. With that being said, my name is Mike Kuzniak. I am at BCBA as of February of 2020. For the last 2.5 years, I've been working as a director of team services, behavioral sciences for the Rutgers football team. And I just finished up my 17th season with the Rutgers football team. 2 different times I came back in 2020. So, and I had the opportunity to bring Alex in, and he's been part of our department since January of 22 this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate those introductions. It's great to hear these diverse experiences. I'm looking forward to moderating this panel here. So I'm just going to jump right into my questions here. So the format for this is I have a couple questions for the panel to answer, and then time being available, Chris will probably give me the cut signal while I'm done here, but we'll have a time for some audience Q&A. So as you guys are listening, please feel free to jot down your questions, but if you could save them for the end of the talk, that would be fantastic. Thank you. So the first question I have for the panel is, what have your experiences during the interview process as an employee or an employer been, and how do you feel those experiences make you think of traditional interviewing processes for folks on the autism spectrum? And if we could start with Henry on this one, that would be great.
Sure. So first, let me say that I myself personally have not been involved directly with hiring the members of the center here. Really, some of my leaders, a couple of them are here with me today in person, others are online, but Tom Stadhouse from our mail operations, who oversees that services here today, and my AVP for business services, who just joined my team a couple of months ago, is here with us as well, Bill O'Brien. And really, it's the members of the leaders of these operations, whether it's mail, whether it's been the golf course, our movie theaters, our other locations, where they have been working directly with the center. So it hasn't really been a traditional formal type of an interview process. It's been more working directly with this center, the members of the center, having them come out to our locations to kind and see specifically where could there be a right fit, right, for these members, for these neurodiverse members to come and find them a great opportunity to come join our workforce and give them a valuable experience that they can contribute to our operations, but also help contribute to their well-being and their professional growth as well. So it's not been that traditional kind of, hey, let's have them apply to a position, let's bring them in for an interview. It's been different. Now, not to say that we couldn't change some of that, because I have been hearing some feedback that some of the members who are working for us would like to get that real experience of how an interview process works. And those are all things that we can work with our groups, and also probably involve career services at the university who do mock interviews to really provide that level of experience for them, because certainly we want these members to be here, part of our Rutgers family, but part of our mission also is to making sure that they grow. And whether they're neurodiverse members or other workforce, we want to see them professionally grow, hopefully with us within institutional planning and operations and the university, but certainly given an opportunity to look for opportunities outside the university. And if we can be part of that process for them to make it a valuable resource where we can serve them, that's what we're really trying to do.
Thanks, Henry. That was awesome. Zach.
In terms of having an interview, it's probably have most experience outside of Rutgers, because when I was working, my interviews at Rutgers were, or my jobs were set up by the RCAAS, but outside of Rutgers, right after I got out of college, I worked for a global marketing research company, which was probably the most difficult job I've ever had in my life. One, because of the interviews, because it was multiple, because it was very competitive. So I could not really nail it at all. Even just really my background experience was able to help, but in terms of communication, I was just sort of all over the place, which was very, very stressful and taking a toll on me mentally. But being here at Rutgers, it's just incredible. But as my career at Rutgers has been sort of all over the place because I first actually started working at the RCAS for about a year, and then went over to work at Mail Services part-time for about like maybe like a year and a half or like 3 semesters. But I had to leave because, you know, the pandemic sort of paid over my career. But about a year later, came back, now conducting an interview, which went so much better because throughout there, like I've done like a mock trial in terms of an interview, and much was able to handle a traditional interview process much better. But in ways we could probably, you know, change it. It's just maybe giving the candidates like an option to do like in person or virtual, but or maybe having someone like in the room or during the chat, like to be their sort of like first support. But I've managed to get better every day with just practice, and I'm really happy where I am today. It's just incredible.
Thanks, Zach, so much. Really appreciate your perspective. Mike, did you have something to contribute to this one?
I too actually do not have any experience with when interviewing formally with a neurodiverse individual. When we brought Alex in, he came through the SCALE program, and when he came in, I kind of gave him an informal interview, so to speak, kind of like the Dell slide that we had earlier, how they did it. So Alex came in and I spoke to him about his prior experience in the athletic department, working at another part of the athletic department, and showed him exactly what he would be doing. And the skills that he had and the talents that he had, I was able to, you know, kind of match those up with what I needed him to do. And anything outside of that, I knew we had support or give him additional support so he could, you know, add on to that job requirement that, you know, as we went along. So, but I do recognize the importance of doing that interview though, so you can understand the talents of the individual and recognize any other strengths that they might have, so you can add on to the job as we go. But that's pretty much all I have. I don't really have any other experience with interviewing formally. So thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. So I like seeing the themes across our talks here where, you know, considerations and accommodations, you know, it should become more normalized. So thank you guys. I appreciate those perspectives. I'm going to move on to our second question here. And the question that is I'd like Alex to start with, if you don't mind, sir, is, yep. Okay. So from your individual perspectives, what have you identified as the greatest barriers to achieving and promoting successful employment outcomes for yourself or for your neurodiverse employees? So Alex, why don't you get started here?
That part, I had the volunteer position at the RAC and I worked hard, follow all the rules. I wanted to stay there and get paid, but they didn't want me back. So it's because they didn't have an autistic program there. I was frustrated at first, but then I was okay after that.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing that. Oftentimes we see that, you know, sometimes folks, because of, you know, a neurodiverse presentation that, you know, maybe a restructuring happens, so to say, as it did at the RAC there, that it's unfortunate we're reconsidered, but also thrilled that you got your dream job working for football right now. Thanks, Alex. Mike, you want to jump in next here?
So I think one of the biggest barriers that I've had to deal with when Alex came aboard was just the atmosphere, making sure that the coworkers that worked in my department understood Alex's, you know, his neurodiverse, the way he behaved, the way he acted. Doesn't have to be the same way that they act and they behave. You know, as long as we're all there for the same mission, that's getting the job done. The harder part came with the team. You have 135 student athletes, football players, pretty big guys, right, Alex? And who's to say that they are all neurotypical? Because that's the last thing you would think if you're working in our department with right next to the locker room there and dealing with their behavior. But having said that, Alex was given specific jobs to do, for us. And we asked him to do something and he would do it just like we asked. But then we had an incident where, a player came up and wanted something and Alex did exactly what we asked him to do. And that player had a meltdown because he didn't like the answer or the response that Alex gave him. So I was not present at that moment and I didn't find out until a day later. And then I ended up addressing it with the individual player later on the week after and just speaking to him about Alex and, Alex is, he's on the spectrum and just trying to educating him. And I think that was the most important thing that you can do with individuals is just to educate them about the differences of Alex versus themselves and what have you. And that's been a real challenge because you don't always see all 135 football players every day. You don't always interact with all of them every day. So it's kind of spreading the word and letting them know that, Alex does work with us and he may seem different to you, but Alex is anything but different. And I can attest to that. He's been a great resource and a great deal of energy in the room, and we love having him there.
Henry, Zach, anybody?
Probably for me, like the greatest barrier is just being able to communicate with everyone that comes into the building, like in the main post office area. Like every day I have to interact with mail carriers, my coworkers, staff of faculty that come in there themselves, or the student workers that are there that like during the school year when they're actually working. I mean, probably the thing for me, I think what's important is for a neurodiverse employee is to learn their strengths and weaknesses, taking that time. We know like what they can excel in, like having them do a certain task at that job, or for chronics, like maybe so then we can keep them away or try to keep them away so they can work more proficiently. But for me, it's just the barrier is just being able to communicate with just all the people around me, because I'm concerned that I may say or do something incredibly awkward that either they would sort of hesitate or, like walk away or make me want to walk away, which can be take a bit of a mental toll. But just do what I can. And like for the mail carriers, like they sort of have like a get in, get out moments where they just need to deliver whatever they're delivering and, being able to answer what we can. But by understanding the strengths and weaknesses and hoping that my coworkers, employer, like if a mistake is made, every once in a while, just hoping just get some latitude, and hopefully we can do it just as well as a non-diverse employee, and just see where we can go from there.
Thanks, Zach.
I think I want to echo some of the things that was said here by Mike. Hello? Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Just want to echo some of the things that my colleagues here have been saying this morning, right? So one of the biggest thing I think for us as an institution, and certainly within institutional planning and operations, is a matter of having awareness, right? Learning more about neurodiversity. What does it mean? How can we contribute to ensuring that we can have a good working environment for all members, right? And that goes a long way for us to making sure that we can spread that awareness. So that's one of the main mission of part of this task force, is to spread the word, get more people involved, get that awareness out there about neurodiversity, and also looking at opportunities. Like I mentioned earlier today, so far, we've been really working with the center to and come out to work with us to see where do we have the right environment so we can put some of these neurodiverse members to come work for our operations. My goal, and I know Dr. Mante will support this, I'm sure, is that we should work really towards not just trying to find the right location within our operations for them, but we need to start looking more about being proactive, say, how can we make our work environments more a place that's more welcoming, that's more has a better ability to support these members, And also not just looking at the physical space to make it better, but also look at our practices. How can we change our practices so that these members can be very successful when they come work for us? And that's important. And I want to mention something too. Zach is sitting here, like I mentioned before, he's now a full member of our mill operations. Tom has shared with me that you can imagine this university is very large and complex. If you took all our assets together, we become the 6th largest city in the state of New Jersey. That's how big we are. We're very complex. The mail operation is extremely complex, knowing all the buildings, knowing all the locations and the systems and how the packages are coming in, how the packages are going out. And we have a system that helps us do all that. Well, you know, I've heard that Zach has actually memorized that system. And he's done that much better than any one of our other employees have. So, you know, there is great opportunity for us. We just have to open our minds and we have to start thinking about things differently. And I really want to get to that point of not only do I want to say, you know, do we have the right place to place one of these members, but how do we ensure that we just change our work environment, our practices, so that it's just a common theme that they're coming to work with us.
That was amazing. I could not agree more. It's a great panel, right? It's awesome. This is really, really great to hear. I have one final question for the panel here, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A as well. And so what do you all, I know we've touched on this already throughout, so maybe we'll be a little bit redundant here, but I think it's important to get that messaging through. What do you guys consider to be the best benefit, the greatest benefit of a neurodiverse workplace? And what advice would you offer to potential employers of neurodiverse people and potential neurodiverse job seekers as well? And Alex, you prepped to go for this one? Yep, you got it, man. Question 3.
All right, so I'm happy at the Rutgers Stadium. The training for that job has been good, and I have gotten paid for my work since day one. The thing that I bring to work each day is a positive attitude. No matter what the job is, I am willing to learn new things and work hard to get the job done. And and all with a good like attitude.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. We'll throw it back to you, okay, Zach?
Thank you. Thank you. I say for me, like maybe just the diversity itself that's in the work environment, just a whole bunch of diversities that come together to like work together to like just create like a really good environment, like a really good workplace where things can like are very operational. Just I think people neurodiverse can offer insights that people that are not educated in neurodiversity like couldn't like even imagine, in which but they have like neurodiverse people have strengths in all just different things like creativity, critical thinking, and all that, as long as working together, their coworkers, just to make the environment just so much better. I've never been a employer before, as I fear the power would go to my head. but I probably for that and like neurodiversity employees, I think what's like I said a little bit earlier for neurodiverse employees is if they can like have the strength to open up about them being a neurodiverse, so things can run like a little bit more smoothly. And maybe for employers just and the coworkers just cooperates and help each other out when they might be in need. But doing that, it can make Rutgers University a much more fair place. Thank you.
Mike?
Okay, so I think the greatest benefit, in my opinion, is giving these individuals that are neurodiverse, making them feel equal to everybody else in the work environment, right? Including them, making them feel like they're part of, this is their job every day they come to. I don't treat Alex any different than I do any of my other employees. I expect him to be there on time. I expect him to, do the tasks that are laid out for him that day. Alex, we work in an area where there's a lot of Rutgers gear, right? And Alex would love to have all the gear, right, Alex? But again, a lot of that gear is not for Alex or myself. It's for the football team, and he understands that. So, I think that's the biggest benefit. It's just making him feel equal and understanding he's part of our team. He's an individual that works there. This is his job. He gets paid for it. If he doesn't come in, I will dock his pay. I'm just kidding. But I think that's one of the most important things, in my opinion. But I would say to others out there that are looking to hire, these are some of the best employees that you can have. I had experience at a previous employment where I was a job coach working with individuals such as Alex, and you give them a task, it gets done. They want to do more. You're not worried about them going on their cell phones or social media and all other stuff that's out there that other workers are doing nowadays. All right. So, and the other biggest thing is like he said, when he talked about a good attitude, every day he comes in with a big smile. He makes sure he says hello to everyone. If he doesn't see somebody that works in my department, where's he at? Where's he at? I got to say hello to him, so he always makes sure that, he says hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is. And he really cares about what he's doing. And I find that with all individuals with neurodiverse individuals is that they all care about what they're doing. Right. And no different than anybody else. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Mike. He's helping me here big time. For sure, I agree what Mike said here. The biggest benefit having them with us here is really their heart, right? They're really motivated to come to work every day. They take a lot of pride in the work that they do, and that is not just seen in themselves, but that is infectious. That spreads to our other staff that work around them, right? And I see that myself. I mean, I hear that from our area supervisors where they give me updates, but when I visit these locations myself, and if they're happen to be in the locations working, I can see that, right? They greet you with a smile. They're excited to do the work that they're doing. They're always willing to do more. And that is one of the biggest benefit that I will encourage everyone around the university to keep that in mind as they're looking for opportunities to include more neurodiverse members into their workforce. And I've heard Zach today mention a couple of times, one of his biggest barriers or concerns is saying something that he doesn't think may be appropriate or making a mistake. I would say, Zach, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes, and we actually become stronger from the mistakes that we make, right? So know that be proud of the work that you do, because I've heard, you just do outstanding work day in and day out. Alex, you've done work for us at the golf course, and Lisa Jensen over there, couldn't speak any more highly about you for the work that you contribute. So, for me, it's really about having members like yourself who come to work every day with a smile, ready to go, doing the assignments that you've been provided, and leaving at the end of the day with a smile still on your face. And that's, to me, is what the biggest benefit is.
One more time for this amazing panel. This is really very, very. I hope you all enjoyed hearing these perspectives as much as I did. And I'm just getting the 5-minute sign here, so I'm going to shut up and throw it out to you guys for any questions that you may have for our panel, please. Yes. Oh, he's going to give you the microphone so the audience, virtual audience, can hear you as well.
Hello. Oh, wow, that's okay. So this is a question geared more toward Zach and Alex. I just want to know, do you have to do you find yourself having to explain your neurodiversity to other people? And if so, is that a one-time occurrence, or is that, multiple times you kind of have to go through it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, although I can be a bit hesitant, I like to I've informed some of my coworkers currently that I have that I'm neurodiverse, tell them the kind of problem I have, and they're totally acceptable of that. Which which is incredible. I love where I am. I love my coworkers and my boss. but it's just, I want to be open as possible, like by letting them know this and hoping they remember that we can just work together and we all come with a smile on our face, no matter like maybe how hard the work might be during the daytime.
So I bring the consistency and rebellion and desire to get the and get the job done well.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you guys very much. Another question right here.
Okay. So I have a specific question for Zachary, if you don't mind. I understand you were a Rutgers alumni, and you spoke a little bit about certain qualities that you could bring or other neurodiverse individuals bring to like the workplace, such as creativity and critical thinking. Were these qualities emphasized, or kind of did your time at Rutgers help you to emphasize these qualities on like your resume? And were people who interviewed you for jobs like aware of these values that you could bring?
Yeah, I'd probably say like my time over Rutgers, like, you know, being affiliated for 5 years and having two different positions, one working for the RCAS and being part of mail services, first part-time and then currently full-time. I was able to learn, I think, like every day, like being able to apply that to like add to my resume, like during the pandemic 2000, like fall of 2020 to 21, I went to work for a supply distribution company called Badaway, located in Piscataway. You know, like just like I did to Rutgers, I informed them about, like, let them know that I'm neurodiverse and made like certain accommodations, like I'm a big visual learner, so like need to see things other compared to hearing, which is the exact opposite for me. But yeah, it's just by doing this, it would just make it much easier for my employers and for my coworkers to know. So we can just make it much more safe, or like if the job it might be difficult, more safe and more productive, no matter how hard things might be.
Thanks, Zach. We have time for one more question. Dina.
Thank you. So my name is Dina Pagnosi. I'm the director of the Rutgers University Anna Conference Center. And I really have a statement more than a question. Zach, you said that you were afraid to say the wrong thing or make a mistake. I manage a completely neurotypical workforce. And I can tell you, learning through this experience, because we do employ some folks from this facility now, we learned a lot about ourselves as employers, as staff members. And what we're really learning is we are so much like each other. So you making a mistake, you saying something, you know, that you think is not appropriate for work, that happens all the time in the workforce. And so be comfortable in yourself. And we as a university need to learn that as well.
Thank you so much, Dina.
Thank you.
Well, we're good here. Thank you all so much for your thoughtful questions. Again, thank you so much to our panel. If we could just give them one more round of applause, please. And I believe we're moving on to lunchtime.